Welcome back to OpenLine. We are here with Kevin Kennedy, Ask the Attorney. Any question you have, and we've got a lot already. Good opportunity for people to call in with questions of a legal nature. Ask Kevin here. Let's go back to the phones. Torona? Hello, Torona?
Hello.
Go right ahead.
My question is, I was falsely arrested and I sued somebody for malicious prosecution, and I won my case. And I was wondering, how do you go about getting the money? Is it possible that you can garnish our bank account if I know it?
Yes, and so here's what happens. Lots of people get judgments, and you can collect those. There's a few times you can't. If they filed bankruptcy on you, you can't get anything, it's over. But if they've got a job, you can garnish those people, and they'll automatically take the money out of their check and send it to you. It may take a while, so much of the time, and if you don't know where they're working, you have what's known as an asset subpoena. You can spend just a little small fee, issue it, make them come to court. They have to swear under oath, and you say, okay, where are your bank accounts? How much money do you have? Where do you work? How much do you make? Show us the car titles. Are these paid for? And then at the end of that, they can move execution and collect from those individuals. Most of the time, when you get on them so heavy, they will try to just go on and pay.
Wow. Okay. What is the case that you think people are least likely to bring up? In other words, maybe they think, well, there's not anything really here.
Well, a lot of times, when it gets like the damages are under $1,000, they say, you know, they didn't do me right, but I really don't want to get involved and spend all my time and go for a court hearing and reset, because it's just not enough money there when it's all said and done.
All right, we have talked about a lot, and we will continue to talk about those: injuries, car wrecks, tractor-trailer accidents, even divorce. What about bankruptcy? Well,
you know, right now the bankruptcy practice is exploding. Every time you have a little dip in the economy, the brokest people in the world, they get hit the hardest, because what happens, you're working a part-time job and business drops, then they cut your hours. As soon as they do, I can't make my car payment, we fall behind, and then they're ready to repossess the car and sue you for a deficiency. State of Tennessee, we have two kinds of bankruptcy. Chapter 7, wipe out the debt. Wipe it out, fresh start, and it's a good thing. It's a federal law. They can't ride you, can't ask about it anymore. And many times that's what we have to do. I encourage people to have insurance. If you didn't have insurance and your insurance wouldn't pay, you had a problem with the medical bills, there's $100,000, you can't pay it. Bankruptcy is something you ought to consider. We also have what's known as the Chapter 13. You don't want to lose your home, don't want to lose your cars. Anyone can file that at any time, and you set up a payment plan, reduce the payments down, and over a period of time, and you try to get your finances straight.
Chapter, the first one you said.
Chapter 7 is a wipe out.
You would lose everything. You lose your home.
Well, you got about a $20,000 exemption, so you could keep your furniture, and most people keep their cars because they only owe. They have very little equity in the cars.
Right.
So, and so what do I say? Come talk to the lawyers, find out what your circumstances are, and get some information. And you may qualify, you may not. Everyone can qualify for the Chapter 13 practically.
Haven't they made it tougher?
It has been, absolutely. And again, every time the legislature meets, it seems like it makes it harder on the working people.
Because they say that we're awash in lawsuits.
Oh, man.
And they say that, you know, take the medical malpractice. We you know, doctors can't work.
Yes.
It raises all of our medical costs.
Yes.
With all of this, they say there are too many lawsuits.
Yes.
We're a litigious society.
Yes.
Out of control. You know, what do you say about all that?
And what I say about that is, if you go to any city in America and you look at the biggest buildings, they're owned by the insurance companies. And the insurance companies are really dictating. They're defending the doctors. Both my sons are doctors, so I understand. I've been in business for 40 years, and I understand business. The truth is, they say the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because everyone's fighting for the money. You've heard that old saying, follow the money. And again, if you're into a jam, you need legal help. Where would this society be when you could get no legal help? And that's why this broadcast is so beautiful, because it helps everyone. There's rich people, poor people, young people, old. Everyone's watching this broadcast tonight. And I've said it earlier, Knowledge is power. Continue to learn. Try to find out. Ask the questions. Loose lips sink ship. You don't have to tell everything. You ask the questions and learn.
You're in a car wreck.
Yes.
And all right, let's say you run into somebody, you hit them from behind.
Okay, it's not good.
And then vice versa.
Yes.
You know, you're hit from behind.
Come on.
Now, all right, what do we do there?
Well, first off, your lawyer, I always like to get a lawyer immediately. And because that insurance company that hits you, they're going to sue you, the one in front of you, and so everybody is dancing a jig. And the truth is, someone in that chain has no insurance.
Right.
So I try to teach everyone, I don't sell insurance, but I'm telling you, get an umbrella policy. What is an umbrella policy? It just goes over the minimum limits. If someone's killed in a car wreck, the minimum limits are not going to protect you and your assets. And so if you've got a business, I like for people to incorporate their business, put their business vehicles in the corporation. If you ever got sued, all they're going to get is that corporation, and you can walk away. They did not get your home. They did not get your personal assets. And so sit down and talk to a lawyer. What are our options? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Benjamin Franklin said that over 200 years ago. It's true today, Ben. True today.
And take pictures and do all that.
Absolutely.
Kind of.
Build up that portfolio. Because it's even intimidating to the other lawyers when you say, well, this is Ben Hall's case. Let me explain to you who Mr. Ben Hall is.
All right, let's go to Diane. Hello, Diane.
Hello.
Go
Yes.
right ahead.
I had a car wreck back in 2011. It was settled back in November of 2015. The attorney said that I should get anywhere from $15,000 to $18,000. However, this is 2017, and all of those creditors have not been paid.
Okay, well, then what you need to do is go back and look at your final settlement papers. I like to say a good understanding keeps down a misunderstanding. If Ben were my lawyer, I would go in and I said, now, Ben, if I get this $15,000, are you paying all the medical bills? If Ben said, no, I'm not paying your medical bills, then I would say, well, let's try not to settle. We need to pay all the medical bills, and then you can get your third. So I'd go back, a good understand, and if he said, I'm going to give you this $15,000, but I'm not paying any of your medical bills, you'll be responsible for that. Well, that's a good understanding too, and then you can call it. So ask the questions, look at your documents, get a copy of it.
That's a good question. Good
Excellent.
question. Let's go to Marion. Hello, Marion. Are you there, Marion?
Yes, I'm here.
Go right ahead.
Hi. I have a question about malpractice. In the case where somebody has acute health problems and they go to the emergency room and the doctor basically just, you get admitted overnight, but the doctor refuses to really talk to the patient. And then in that case, the patient is so sick that they need either cardiac rehab or to be in a nursing home for a while. But really it boiled down to the doctor not admitting the patient for long enough to get viewed properly and all that, and analyzed, and
Yes.
of course there's that Medicare standard. If you're not admitted for 3 days, then the money all falls on the patient.
So you're wondering if that's a case? What do you think?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, how do you prove that, though? That's going to be really hard.
And again, we would look at it based on those medical record charts. If they took his pulse, if they had certain tests that they did, and then the test, any reasonable doctor in that situation would have admitted them. And if for whatever reason he did not, that's a deviation from the standard of care. And as a result of not admitting, then we had serious ramifications, and there could be a prolonged visit in the hospital and rehab. Someone has to be responsible for that.
So Marion may have a case there, but
Absolutely.
the other thing is there's a statute of limitations they need to be aware of.
Always 1 year.
So hopefully it's less than a year. All right, Corey. Hello, Corey. Are you there, Corey?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
The executor of my deceased father's estate, and he died back in August of 2014, and he had a house with homeowners insurance policy, and my siblings have been living there since then. And according to the insurance company, the homeowners insurance policy was invalid 120 days after his death, but the payments were in escrow, and I was wondering if the estate's would the estate be entitled to the roughly 2.5 years of insurance payments being made, even though it wasn't a valid policy at the time?
Okay, and we see those kinds of things all the time. The insurance company said, well, that policy is not in effect. And of course, many of them would say, I'll give you and refund those premiums back. But my law office many times says, no, no, no. You accepted the premiums, and we relied on your representation. And as a result of that, that policy is in effect, and they sue and they collect. Sometimes they get the full amount, sometimes they have to take a less, because it's gray area. How good is their argument? What is their evidence? What is our evidence? And you know, affidavits, they do make a difference. And you say, well, you knew that this is what was told to us. Being can sit down and do an affidavit. I have 3 affidavits that support our position. What do you have?
So there's something
absolutely
there.
See a lawyer, and then if it makes sense to you, and the lawyer says I don't agree, not everyone agrees. You might have to see another lawyer.
Yeah, and I hear that a lot. That everybody can't take every case. So
That's
you're going
true.
You're going to different lawyers. Let's go to Julie. Hello, Julie.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Yes, I have a sister that lives out of state that is having a hard time with her grandkids that are through the child services, and the parents are out of the picture, but they have taken the kids from her, but now they're not letting her have visitation or even letting them know where that they're at. The youngest one is 2, and I was just curious as far as to how you can find out information to keep up with what's going on with them, as far as what's right or what's wrong, or the law, you know, how that goes.
Where was this? Where is this? In Tennessee?
No, it's in Indiana.
Indiana. Wow.
Basically, the Department of Children's Services has a lot of leverage. They have the power because the state's policy is to protect children. If they feel like they have a need to intervene and remove these children, they can do that. But let me tell you, that's their discretion, and we handle those kinds of cases all the time where a private lawyer is hired, files a petition, and says, we think the children should be with us, a family member, and we bring it in front of a judge, put on our argument, put on our proof, and the judge can say, okay, we'll do this for a period of time. If they're not getting visitation, he'll establish some supervised visitation, and then later full visitation, with the ultimate goal is always to unify a good family with their family members. And if we've got issues with drugs, we can't put children in a drug-infested environment. So get the facts out. Pursue it. I'm always telling one lawyer said I couldn't do that. I don't want to hear that, lawyer. I don't want to hear that. Now, if you want to have some opportunity, come in, let's talk serious business. I'm really big on this positive thought. I believe that we can do it. And with that belief, we put together a team and we move forward. And I've seen it time and time again. If I've got these, oh, woe is me, I don't even want those guys around me. I said, don't come in here and look at us, because we're going to move forward.
I think people do think cases like that, taking on the state is daunting.
It is.
And I think some people are just overwhelmed. They don't think they can do it.
Right. And again, and I understand that, and that's when you need that lawyer, that solo man, one that will not run, is not afraid. I love to see young lawyers with courage, and they'll stand up there and fight to the end.
All right, we're going to take a break. If you're on the line, hold on. If you want to call, there's the number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. We'll come back. We'll just take a bunch of calls when we come back. Hold on the line. Be back right after this.